I want to start with a question I didn't get to last week. It's from Witness Nge. And it says essay and how to write an essay, how to do a mind map, how to do the introduction, how to do the conclusion. So it's just a general thing about essay writing. So if you start with, this is you. And you need to say to yourself, what do you like to share with your reader? So I'm thinking specifically of the kind of content, and then the content will also go with the genre. So I have a grade 12 who is a UN debater. He likes to work on or to use his debating skills. So the kind of essays he likes to write are argumentative, opinionative, discursive, expository, what have I left out, persuasive, those kinds of essays, because he is up on general knowledge, he's got lots of facts at his fingertips, he is aware of what is happening currently, he can tell you what's going on like now. So this is what he likes to share, and that sort of dictates his genre. Remember, we always talk about our gaps, our genre, audience, our purpose, and our style. So you need to think about what do you like? What do you enjoy? Right, so what do I enjoy reading? Well, I like reading this kind of essay that I've just described if it's well done. Otherwise, I prefer descriptive writing and narrative writing and reflective writing. Descriptive means exactly that. Narrative, you're telling a story. Reflective is a little bit of both, and then you give me your response, your reaction. So the most important thing, if we go back to this idea of what do you want to share, it's got to be something that is personal, because you need to be invested in what you're writing. In other words, you've got to care about what you're writing about. So it's got to be real for you. So this is one of the reasons that I like teaching hip-hop, because one of the things about hip-hop is keep it real. So if it's real to you, if it's meaningful to you, it will have meaning for me. So that's the first thing. So maybe think about the kinds of things you like to share. Maybe you are football crazy. So many of my boys are. Some of them, it's rugby. A few might be cricket. With my girls, it's netball if they're going to write about sport, or touch rugby. I get that more than I get hockey from either of them. So is it sport? Is that what you care about? Now, you've got to remember that you've got to make it real. So use all your details, use your knowledge, use the facts that you have to make your writing interesting. So one of my grade 9s last year, he used to like to write about cricket, but very often he would write something quite sort of vague and general. And I'd say to him, but you know all the details. You know those players you were describing. So give me all those details. And then he would go back and he'd revise his work, use all the details that he knew, and it would just come alive on the page. So this is what you do first of all. You say to yourself while you are preparing, what do I like to share? Maybe it's something about your cousins. So I had a matric student a few years ago who had nephews and nieces who were little, they were much younger, and they were an endless supply of stories. So she just would retell something, whatever, from their latest things that they were doing. Then once you've got that kind of idea in your head, what do you enjoy? What do you want to share? Then look at the topics. Now, I'm not suggesting that you force your essay to match it, but is there something in one of the topics that you could write about sport or your very naughty nephews and nieces? That's a possibility. This is a possibility. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I'm not sure about that. And I'm really not sure about that. Okay, so let's have a look. Remember, this is the sport, and this is the nephews and the nieces who are very naughty. All the ends go together. So you could write about a sports event when things started to go wrong. So you know your coach, and then things went wrong. An event, family get together before Corona, and things went wrong. This one, you could talk about how through sport you feel that we're making the world a better place, and maybe with your little naughty nephews and nieces, maybe the fact that you're going to bring up these naughty children and work with their strengths rather than their naughtiness. Hidden treasure, absolutely. It could be the player that came and joined your team and the hidden treasure amongst your naughty nephews and nieces. The future. Yeah, if you want to be a great football player, you have to go for it now. And the naughty nephews and nieces, possibly, not sure, don't think so. Right, this one, definitely a sport one. What about the naughty nephews and nieces? Possibly an event with one of them where the child feels good about itself without reference to you or to a parent. Definitely sport. Not too sure about that. Maybe it would be a bit forced. So do you see, we've started with what do I want to write about? What do I want to share with my reader? And then I've looked to see if any of it applies. And I've seen in this paper seems to be really good for me. Now, what if not one of them is your sport or your naughty nephews and nieces? So let's look again and say, okay, what do I know about? Did something happen recently where things were going according to plan? Yes. Now, be careful about writing a COVID essay. It must not look the same as the other 100,000 students all writing a COVID essay. We're going to come back to this, but it's got to be real. All right, I definitely believe this. What I think you've got to be very careful in this kind of essay is do not be vague, don't be generalized, don't give me philosophy. Don't use you. If you use you, you are dragging me into the essay. The minute you say you are talking directly to your audience, and your audience is a marker. So I have had students with an essay topic like this one say, do you want to make the world a better place? It's in your hands to make a difference. What are you going to do about it? I don't like being dragged in like that into a matric essay. Because do you see, you're putting yourself in the position of wise philosopher offering me advice. I don't think you should do that. Think about it. You don't know who your marker is. You've got to be very careful of offending your marker, of making your marker feel that you're treating that person like an idiot. So what should you do with changing the world? please do not repeat the topic. Can I say that? Do not repeat the topic. Some students have started to write the topic at the beginning and end of every paragraph. I think in some way they've been told, show that you've focused on the topic, and I don't know, it creates a good structure. It doesn't. It's just infuriating. Give me an example of how you've tried to change the world and make it a better place, and whether or not you've been successful or not. I was describing an incident to my grade 11s this morning where I tried to talk to somebody about going the wrong way down a one-way street. Was I successful? No. He swore at me. But does that mean you should stop trying? No. And don't say you. Does it mean that I will stop trying? No. I'm going to keep on trying. Why? Because I think we need to tell people when they're driving the wrong way down a one-way street, you're endangering people. I live in a high-density area. There are lots of people in my area. There are lots of children. And the other day when I turned the corner, there's a little park over here. And there was like an older child with some younger children. And one of the younger children ran straight in front of my car and onto the other side. And again, I rolled down the window and had a chat to all of them. The child apparently is 3 or 4. So this is what can happen in our area. So no, you must not be driving the wrong way because, you know, there's going to be more problems and you're going to have cars coming towards you. And who knows what accident can happen. So tell me some stories about when you've tried. And you can laugh at yourself the way I'd laugh at myself. All right? He listened to me for a few minutes and then told me, which I cannot repeat on television. So, yeah. Did I succeed? Nope. Do I still believe we can make the world a better place? Yep. Will I try tomorrow? Yep. Will I succeed? Probably not. Okay, so hidden treasure. Please don't write some strange thing about finding treasure in an old house or something. Think about it more metaphorically. You know what metaphor is. So think about what is the hidden treasure you found. Maybe in a sibling you never got on with. Same thing here. Please don't repeat the topic and don't philosophize. Talk about something you've done when you realized, I've got to try it now. I can't wait and hope that somebody's going to give it to me in the future. Then the next one, again, tell me a story. What has happened to you? And don't preach at me. Don't say you don't need someone else's approval. Feel good about yourself. You can feel good. This is going to end up being an LO lesson. And really, I don't want an LO lesson in your creative essay. So tell me about a time when you have felt good about yourself and you haven't needed anybody else's approval. The important thing was your trying or whatever it was. Beyond these walls, this is obviously written for grade 12s because they're looking towards their future. And again, make it real. I read an essay from a matriculant, I would say maybe 10 years ago now. And she wrote about why matric was so important to her and to her family. And she ended off with how frightened she was about the results. And she said that she was going to go down to the Eastern Cape and be with family after matric finished and while she waited for the results. And again, she talked about how much depended on her getting good results. And she ended her essay with, God knows I've tried. He always knows. And at the time I read that, I wanted to cry. And I feel the same feeling. And if a matriculant writing in the matric exam can reach out beyond the page, do you hear how her own voice, and I'm telling you it was a girl, there's just everything about that essay. This was a girl I was reading. How she could reach out to me, a total stranger, and make me feel so anxious for her. And to feel the tears and the little in the throat. Then, of course you're going to give it an amazing mark. Why? Because this child has moved you so deeply. And the simplicity of that. And another year, there was a boy who talked about how he really messed up his life. And then his father said to him, I'm going to send you to South Africa where we've got family. And he talked about how his uncle had welcomed him in and how he was really trying to show that he could turn his life around. Again, I remember that essay so vividly. And please, people, I remember other essays for the wrong reasons. And again, most of them I can't even mention on air because they are rather dubious writing and I really don't want to describe them. But you want your marker to remember, and I can go back years. I can tell you about essays that I read in the 80s. And just moments in those essays. I don't remember every word, but just the reality of that child suddenly speaking to the marker. And that's what you're trying to achieve. And you don't get that with something like, you don't need somebody else's approval to feel good about yourself. You must always just feel good about yourself. You must think about self-worth. Blah. All right. So beyond these walls, don't write the usual thing of, we all know it's going to end and we're going to go out into the big world and we're going to be, oh no, be real. So witness, the first thing that you said to me is something about planning. That's how you plan. You start thinking about what can I bring to this topic that no other child can bring to it. So if every single matriculant, all 1 million plus of them, wrote the same essay topic, it should not be the same essay over and over and over and over again. Each essay should be different. Then you said, how do you plan using a mind map? Okay, so I really don't want to do this in a lot of detail, but you put in the middle your oval or your square or whatever it is, and you're meant to draw a picture. So maybe we're going to talk about making the world a better place, and I'm going to mention the one-way street. So there's the me in my car, and I'm going along the one-way street, and there's a person in the car coming the other way. That's going to be one of my stories. So you put the picture in the middle of the page. Then using a different color each time, you draw lines out from the center. If you are FAL, you're writing 250 to 300 words, the maximum you can have is 3 paragraphs. This is 3 paragraphs. Every color is a different paragraph. Your topic sentence must go here with a key word. Just a key word. You do not plan in sentences. Keyword. And there'd be a topic sentence here and a topic sentence here. The topic sentence is the main idea of the paragraph. All the ideas that go with that main idea are linked to that paragraph. When you have finished planning your body paragraphs, you need to plan your introduction and you need to plan your conclusion. So if you want me to do more about planning, then please send another message. Remember, all your ideas are coming off here. They're all linked. So they're all connected. Okay, if you want me to do more witness, just tell me. Then your introduction and your conclusion come afterwards. Because now you've planned all of this. So now you realize your introduction is going to be something like, I don't know, me the idealist. And try to begin in the moment. You begin with something important happening. So maybe you are having an argument. I was arguing with my family the other day because they said I must stop accosting people. Accosting is talking to people who haven't asked for you to talk to them. Accosting people on the roads to discuss the driving. That one day somebody is going to run me over or take out a gun and shoot me. All right, so there's my introduction. And then my conclusion would be something along the lines of, No matter what's happened to me, it's still me, the idealist. So do you see, witness, I have chosen here to begin and end with the same idea. So part of my structure is to use the same idea at the beginning and the end. So in the middle, I'm going to do all my failures. So this one is going to be the stop street. This one is going to be when I stood in front of a taxi who was trying to go down a one-way street the wrong way. I'm not sure, can't think of one offhand. So it's going to be about my failures, but I'm going to say at the end, doesn't matter. I'll be the person stopping, rolling down my window and saying, good morning, or whatever, and starting a discussion about the driving on South African roads. Okay, so witness, do you see the introduction and the conclusion are done when you have planned your essay? They come at the end, because now you can see where the essay is going. You can see the essay as a whole. And now you're putting on the introduction and the conclusion so that it belongs and it fits. Okay, so witness, if you need more than that, would you please contact me, send a message to Mbali, and she will tell me that you want something more.